than the new Chapter 1 release from Sizzix. Now, today I'm going to be going through all of the different dies, all of our different technologies, our 3D embossing folders, our Impresslets, our Switchlets. If you haven't seen those before, you've got a treat in store, and some of our bigs as well. So let's get cracking, shall we? Now, first up, I've got this lovely, gorgeous little die set. It's called Floral Contours, and that's designed by our very own Olivia Rose. And at certain points, I will be bringing in examples of how you can use these. Now, very contemporary shapes, lots of little foliage going on in there, so you can switch it round. And because of that gentle curve, you could almost do these in a circle or a semicircle. And here's an example. There with this cute doggy, and you can see some of these lovely frames. The letters, we'll be looking at that lovely alphabet later on as well, but really, really super contemporary colours. But you can change the colours to whatever suits your mood or theme. Now that one is Floral Contours. Then next up, and this one is a personal favourite of mine. It's called All Occasions, and it really does take in the vast majority of occasions. It's a Thinlits set, again, designed by Olivia Rose, and she's a busy young lady. Now you can see the size of these. They're very fluid and they're very clean. Now look at them there. That shows all of them on an A4 sheet, and you can see how you can put these together. We've got the separate happy, we've got a separate day, so you can add those or take them away. Happy Father's Day, Happy Mother's Day, New Year Day, Thanksgiving, Easter. So we've got it all going on there. If you're going to get one sentiment set, this is the one I would get. It's absolutely glorious, isn't it? Now, next up, I want to show you a set. These elegant labels. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the packaging for these, which is a real shame. But you can see the level of detail. They are so elegant. They're aptly named. Let me put this the right way up, shall I? Because I would imagine that goes at the bottom. But hey, if you want to put it at the top, or if you want to put one at the bottom or one at the top, that's entirely up to you, because you can see that these elements, you can switch them around between the different labels, and the detail and how fine this is gorgeous. And with that embossed detail, that like stitch detail or that pin mark, makes it even crisper. But let's take those away for a second, because next I want to introduce you to Pocket Pals, again designed by our Olivia Rose. Now, there are 3 different creatures. You can use them with or without the pocket. I suggest that you use that pocket because it's gorgeous. Now, I guess if you change up the features and some of the ears and things like that, you can come up with, well, lots of different, like if those ears were pointed downwards, that would be kind of a doggy, wouldn't it? So, and it's usually one of our stamps as well, which we'll come on to later, but a very versatile, great if you're crafting with kids. You know, they love this sort of thing. They're ideal for kids' birthdays or room signs or anything like that, but you're getting all these little floral details in as well. So a very, very versatile little set, that one. Now next up, this is a favourite of all of our designers. It's called Hello Baby. Lots of elements. I mean, the one thing that is a constant is babies. We've got babies on the way. We've got first year birthdays, one in work that's just gone by. So it is a constant, and it's something that we're always making for, particularly if you're a card maker or maybe a scrapbooker. Then things like this are ideal. There's small elements, there are larger elements. You can make so many different compositions using this set. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, that's another Olivia Rose. We can see that gorgeous little sleeping bear. Beautiful. Love that. Love that. And you get all the details for the eyes and the nose and the inside of the ears and everything. Now, next up, we'll talk about crafting with your kids. This is great for creative play, great for cute card fronts, great for maybe little finger puppets if you want to tell a story, but it's a very simple set. You'll notice that the dies, we've got all the different facial features, different ears, different circles, so on and so forth. So that allows you to make these 14 different creatures. You may think it's a huge set. It's not. It's quite a small set, relatively speaking. But these are the 14 we've come up with. I dare say there are many, many more if you really put your mind to it. And I know you guys will come up with something special. Send along your ideas. If there's something we hadn't thought of, let us know. Spring has sprung. I guess it takes its title from the Frank Sinatra song, You Make Me Feel So Young. I think it was in a movie. Anyway, I digress. Spring has indeed sprung, or it will be springing fairly soon. Lovely, lovely set. It really is. We've got that bunny, we've got the duck, we've got Easter eggs, we've got so much going on there. Again, lots of potential, lots of different ways of using these dies. And you know what? The Easter egg, the egg actually works with one of our lovely shaker domes as well. So there we have it. Now, this one is called Layered Spring Flowers. And this goes with, stylistically, some of our other layered flowers you might have seen from last year. And I guess into the future as well, we will be adding to this. So if you want to make a bouquet of different flowers, you have that option because they will all be sized accordingly. And here is a simple card made with one of the flowers from that beautiful set. And notice the Happy Mother's Day. Yes, that's the All Occasions Sentiment Die Set. So there we have it. Lovely, lovely, lovely set. Next up, again, this one is Intricate Floral Egg, and this is designed by Jenna. And you can see, well, I mean, intricate, definitely. It is so much fun putting all these little pieces together. If you want to do it monochromatically, if you want a riot of colour, that's entirely up to you. But it's just really, really cute. And you can see the size here. Just glorious, really, really nice. And you get all the embossed detail. So that will tell you, that will indicate exactly where to put your die cut shapes. And here is an example. When I say monochromatic, you can see we've kind of pared back the colours here. We've left it to creams and whites and yellows and those lovely green. And this is all our Sizzix cardstock as well. If you love these colours, check out the cardstock. You will love it. Oh, and there's our sentiment popping up again. Now the next one, this is another favourite of mine. This one is called Tea Time. And you're getting this gorgeous, and I mean, there's a big trend now for these vintage teacups. This shape particularly is very elegant, very clean. We're getting the embossed detail as well. And all this floral action going on. And you can style this up however you want. You could add as much or as little. You can use the flowers separately or independently. I'm going to bring over a lovely make. Now, isn't that now? There's our teacup there with some of the flowers. There's a larger teacup as well. We will tell you a bit more about that in a little while. But look at that! It's got lights. How about that? Isn't that glorious? But great, you know, for contemporary card makes, vintage card makes, anything you want. If you want to be bang on trend, this is the way to go. And again, our glorious Sizzix cardstock. Now, another trend that's raised its head is letter writing, and this one is called You've Got Mail. We find that because, well, we can't meet up as we used to, particularly when separated by the miles, then letter writing, again, has somewhat come back in the last couple of years. This is great for quirky sentiments or just simple notes or just to say that you care or you miss the person or the recipient, as it were. But a gorgeous typewriter, lots and lots of detail. Again, we're getting the little florals as well and the just a note sentiment together with that. Now, I know I keep saying these are my favourites, but this one, what I love about this one is the versatility. Now, people may look at that and think, oh, I don't see its versatility, but the thing about this is you can use part of it. You don't have to use the whole thing. It makes a great card front, yes it does, but you can use it as a stencil. Now that's very important. Now imagine you stencil through that with our 3D adhesive and you apply some foils. You will get something like that. Isn't that glorious? And that's just using it as a stencil. Now you could ink through it as well, you know, using our stencil film, or you could ink on a piece of card and die cut it to get the color, a riot of color. Lots going on there. Lovely font, incidentally, boys and girls. More of that in a second. Now, celebrations. Crack open a bottle of bubbly. This is bottles and glasses. And nothing says celebration like a bottle of fizz. The great thing about this one as well, it does work with our 2-inch shaker dome. So you can add some sequins, beads or glitter into that should you wish. We've got a lovely cocktail glasses there. Our champagne or Prosecco bottle, depending on what your poison is. But that's just a lovely, lovely set, and it's something that works all year round. It is something that you will keep in your stash and use time and time again. And to me, the versatility means value for money, because you know it's something that you will be coming back to over and over. Now, this one. Now, I don't know. I'm not. Josh, just nod if you love this set. He's nodding. See, the camera's nodding. He's done this before, boys and girls. He's on the money. There we are. Now, we love this. It's called Quirky Animals. And again, it plays into that woodland theme, which is so prevalent now. You can see there are 5 different creatures. All your florals, all your foliage, you get the hearts as well. Let's see if I can find a card with an example. Now, this is our lovely bear and hedgehog in very muted tones, and there's a lovely 3D folder going on in the background there. But this one, by switching up the colours, this is our Sizzix cardstock, but it's also using our neutrals. There's another example, and you can see I've used one of the words from the All Occasions die set as well. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous set of dies. It really is. I love the style. That's designed by Olivia Rose. Lovely set. Now, florals. If you love your 3D florals, this is a good way to go. This is called Spring Bloom, and you'll notice that we've had a lot of 3D florals the last couple of years. And this will add to that, because if you're making bouquets, if you're making displays, it's nice to have different shapes, different petal shapes, so on and so forth. It works great with our crepe paper, of course, but equally with cardstock as well, or our lovely foam, which you can manipulate and heat and colour and so on and so forth. It's a great shape. It's designed by Jen Ogborn, this one. And you know, you can with these, because the petals are individual, you can make the blooms as big or as small as you wish. So there's lots and lots of versatility. Now, let me reach back and show you a lovely showstopper. How about this? Now, this does incorporate quite a few of our flowers in truth, but that one is amongst them. You can see that here. It's glorious, isn't it? That's really, really nice. I'm not sure who made this, but kudos to them, because it is fantastic. So whether you want to make a display, or maybe a wedding bouquet or something like that, or you want to decorate your home or around the edge of a frame, this is the way to go. And you can see we've used our sculpting foam here. We've used our crepe paper. Really, really nice. I love the texture of this crepe paper. Really is special. There we are. Now let's put that to one side just for a second, because I'm going to get onto some slightly bigger Thinlits. And this one is one of Jen Long's ever popular fold-along makes. It's the card label fold-along card. Now, if you've never come across a fold-along before, let me show you what you're getting. So this is made with elements from the set. And you can see it opens out, and there's that central part there. So there's a special way of folding the card. There are videos online showing how to do this. Now, you can stamp your sentiment there, you can add a photograph, whatever, but then it closes up, and you can see that this frame just sits there beautifully as Pete puts it together all wrong. There we are, that's more like it. But a really classy way to show off your die cuts, to show off your stamps. That's a super set. Well done, Jen. Now, how about this? Spring time. 58 different dies. So you're getting your letters, you're getting your numbers, and you're getting some of the punctuation. And this was designed by Jamie Steele. Nice one, Jamie. This is a classic font. And if you're going for a typeface, if you're going for a font, if you want to make your cards truly special and bespoke and personal, then having individual letters is the way to go. But the great thing about this one, not only does it cut the letters, but you can see these lines on the inside. It actually embosses them too. And I think I had a look. Oh, yes, I did say we would be coming back to this, didn't I? Now look at that, cut from the Opulence. Isn't that great? That is gorgeous, isn't it? So that is what makes this font so special. But as I said, it's a classic sans serif font, so you can't go wrong with it. And you know what? It works particularly well with those script sentiments as well. You remember the All Occasions that we looked at the top of the presentation? You could apply those above or below. So say you had mothers, and you could write day using this font. So you can have that lovely script at the top. So mix and match, bring them together, you can't go wrong. Now, that is our lovely sentiment. Now, we get into 3D, we're getting into boxes and bags here. And this was designed by the very clever Kath Breen. She does come up with some wonderful things, she really does. This is a lovely gift box, or gift bag, depending on how you look at it. And this is an example thereof. This is how it can come together. You can see we've used one of those lovely labels and some of the little florals as well from that set, and one of our sentiments. These keep cropping up, don't they, folks? They really do. But you can apply detail to the flap at the top or not, depending on the look. You're gonna, even if you use just plain old craft card, if you're going for that kind of vibe, it's going to look just as good, but it goes together beautifully. Really, really simple, wonderful for parties, for any occasion, or maybe even table setting, individual little gift bags on a table setting as well. Now this is Botanic envelope liners, and this one is designed by Jen Ogborn. Now, these work with our standard C6 envelopes. And I'll show you some examples of what you're going to get. So these are our Sizzix envelopes, and this is Sizzix Cardstock. So again, you can cut the liner and you can add the detail, or you can add different detail. And you see we have these little flourish ties as well, which go with that. So switch up the colors. The world is your oyster. It's something that makes your card making, your letter writing, anything that you're sending, a real showstopper, and that's before they even get to the card. So a lovely, lovely idea there from Jen Ogborn. So that concludes the Thinlits. Now, let me just take those out of the way just for 1 second. I'm going to bring in a few more examples to show you. Remember our teacup and those lovely, lovely flourished labels? There you go. This one with one of our Easter sets, and we've got Jamie's font going on there as well. Oh, did I say, remember that? A Hello Baby set. How about that? How about that? Popping into a frame. Maybe underneath printed the name and the date of the birth of the baby in question. There we are. That's a good idea to be going along with. So, lots and lots of possibilities there. So let me just take those away for a second, and we shall move on to stamps and framelits as well. Now, 2 sets of stamps here. We have got positive signs and spring sentiments. Now we have 6 stamps in this set. They are clear stamps, and 6 in this set. They work absolutely wonderfully with our opaque embossing powders and our Sizzix embossing pad. And look, see this one here? How about that? And that's using one of our opaque embossing powders. Lovely effect, or just stamp them in black, whatever color you want. It's entirely up to you. But the positive signs, that's what we're looking for at the moment. Keep your head up, better days ahead, all that kind of thing. Lovely just to send a card to somebody saying that you're thinking about them. And of course, spring sentiments, well, I mean, we've got loads of spring dies. Why not match them with the sentiments? Absolutely perfect. Well, we're talking about positivity as well. This is a lovely Framelits and Stamps set. So this one's called, I think it's called Big Hug. Let me just check. It is Big Hugs. Big Hugs. So, you can use these hands, you can use them as a card wrap, you can overlap them, you can put the heart in the middle. We've got this lovely heart sign here as well. So very contemporary. This is the sort of thing that you see coming up time and time again on packaging, on almost everything, on cushions, home decor. This kind of thing is very, very popular right now, and there's lots of these lovely little hearts in with that set as well. Really, really nice set, and this is designed by Olivia Rose. Then next up, I love this one, Thankful Bicycle. It's a wonderful set. We've got these 3D floral elements as well, so you can use the flower by itself. That's the flower center, and that's the flower. Now, the bicycle, that's the framelit, so you can cut around your stamped image afterwards. Same with this flower, you cut around that with this die. You can use them without the framelits or with, it's entirely up to you. I like to use them with the framelits because I like to sometimes get a little dimension, especially if you're using these. Now, these are the same size as the space beneath the wheel, so you can put the flowers in there. Very, very clever little set, really cool. You can see if we get right in there, that shows the bicycle and the flower together, and our lovely 3D flower. So that is our stamps and framelits. Now, I'm going to move on to 3D embossing. And I'm going to show you some examples as well with these embossing folders. Now, this one is called Rhombus Pattern. Quite Art Deco, very, very classy, lovely background. And as with all of these folders, you can use them. And this is an example of how it comes out. And this is just a matte gold from our Opulent range. And just, you know, you can use a part of that. You don't have to use the whole thing. You can cut this card to the size you want. You can cut a circle and emboss it. You can die cut anything you can imagine using this folder. Or you can just emboss the front of the card. Makes a wonderful card front with just a simple sentiment across it. Absolutely perfect. Keep it simple, folks. So next up, I love this. I really do. It's so classy. It's called Lacy. And it does kind of mimic a vintage lace pattern. This was designed, of course, by Kath Breen, who comes up with such lovely designs in his 3D folders. And then again, this is matte silver, and you can see those sort of lacy elements joining all that together. Really, really nice folder. Now, we're going to come away from this one is wild. This is, if you want to make a party on a card, this is it. Crack open the bubbly. This one's called Celebrate. Imagine this in conjunction with our Celebrate die set. And this is how it comes out. Oh, there you go. Now look at the depth of emboss there. Look at that. And that is the beauty of 3D embossing folders. It's wonderful. It really is. This is just using our Sizzix cardstock. That is Mango Tango, the color, if I'm not much mistaken. And this is using the silver opulence. So you have, you can, I mean, you could even perk these up with luster waxes, which are absolutely ideal for 3D folders. You can use acrylics with a dragging technique as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, jungle theme or floral theme, anything like that. You want a really flooded embossed background, then this one is perfect. It is called, I should know these things, leaf pattern. Of course it is, of course it is. And this one is, well, just look at it in green. Imagine it in a rich green as well, or a blue green. It's going to look fantastic. So any kind of woodland makes, any floral makes, any jungle makes perhaps, absolutely perfect. And this is the same folder, but in our Opulent Cardstock, and this is from the Rose Gold range. Now, I'm going to take these out of the way because the higher this is getting, the more Josh has to stand on his tiptoes. I don't want to make him work too hard for his money. Now, this is a multi-level embossing folder, now, which is different from 3D, but you do get that sense of three-dimensional space between these as well. So it's a multi-level, and let's show you what multi-level means. So you can see that's a flat heart and then another one on top of that. So we're going up subsequent levels, one on top of the other. That's just in pink. So if you're thinking Valentine's or you're just sending love, absolutely ideal. Very fresh, very contemporary in its styling. And that's it in rose gold opulence. Then next up, I love this one. I really do. This is Geometric Flowers. Now, it's quite gorgeous the way that you see this is sort of rounded and domed. It's one of my favorite backgrounds because it's flooded, and you know, it's on a diagonal, it's on a straight line, it goes that. It's perfect, and I like using these just in just little small sections of this, as much as I enjoy using it as a complete card front. So that's it, just in pink card. And that's it using some of our Opulent Cardstock. Now, are you a fan of Art Nouveau styling? Well, aren't we all? So there, this one's called Art Nouveau, and it's a lovely, lovely pattern. Look at that. Again, talking about elegance, that's these lovely acanthus flourishes. Just really, really classy. And this one also works beautifully in the Opulent Cardstock. It really does. But, you know, for vintage makes, perfect. With any florals, use again in whole or in part, cut a circle, emboss it. I know I keep going on about that, but you know, there's so many ways to use them. And finally, we have Baroque. Again, this is another classy, and this one does lend itself very much to vintage backgrounds, and that shows you there. This is just in blue card, but you can imagine it in opulence, or maybe in black with luster wax over the top. Really, really fabulous. Now, sadly, the next two, I don't have examples of them, but I apologize for which. I couldn't find them at the last minute. This one's called Floral Finishes, Floral Flourishes. I do apologize. This is another multi-level. It's not dissimilar to our lovely Art Nouveau, except the elements are slightly smaller, as you can see here. And this one's been rendered in Opulent Cardstock. Then this one, it's so sad that I don't have a sample for this, and I hope you can see what's going on there. This is designed by Jen Ogborn. It's a multi-level, and it's called, if I just turn that over there, it is called Rainbow Sky, and you can see it's got a very contemporary, simple kind of vibe to it. And it's gorgeous. And rainbows we're seeing everywhere at the moment, and these lovely cutesy clouds as well. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous folder, and this would work so well with many of our die sets from the current Chapter 1 range. It would also work well with the beautiful Positive Signs stamp set. So that, boys and girls, brings me to the end of the 3D embossing folders, but we are going to bring in some 3D Impresslets now. Or rather a 3D Impresslet. This one is designed by Catherine. It is called Floral Heart. Now, Impresslets, what are Impresslets? They are 3D embossing folders combined with a die. So in that folder is a die, and it cuts around that lovely detail. When I say detail, just have a look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That's just in pink card. Again, you can imagine how that would pop in our opulent or metallic ranges, or any card with a high sheen, really. Just a glorious. This could be the focus or the center of a card, maybe with a sentiment underneath. And because of the floral nature, it works for all occasions. Lovely. Now, if we take that Impresslet technology to the next level, we're going to be getting something like this. And I'm going to show you these two together. They're both designed by Kath Breen. She is absolutely ingenious when it comes to things like this. Now, these are called Switchlets, and they're slightly different. Well, let me explain how. And I'm going to actually open one of these up because it is a relatively new technology, so many of you may not have seen this previously. So what we're getting is an embossing folder. That's a multi-level embossing folder, I believe. And you get these. Now these little marks, what are they? They are magnets. And the reason that we have magnets is so that we can attach or apply these dies. So that fits around the embossed image, and it cuts this lovely shape, and that comes out something like that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now you could stamp the card prior, or you could stamp it thereafter, or you can add whatever you want to that. But then if I take that away, so that's going to hold, we're going to put the card in the center, run it through the machine. Then when I'm done, I simply take this away, add the next one, whichever one I want to use. So it gives you great, great versatility. And then that's how that one comes out. Then finally we have one more, and a lovely rounded rectangle, and that's the third. So you're getting three for the price of one, basically. You're getting these three distinctly different shapes with the same embossed detail going on. Now, the leaves, this one is called Spring Leaves, and it's the same idea, the same concept. So you're getting that lovely detail in the center, but three distinctly different shaped leaves. I'm so sold on this technology. I love it. I love it for its versatility. I love it for how clean and crisp it is. I love it for the fact with these particularly, I can use the leaves by themselves because they're classic shapes, or I can use them individually. You can use them with our crepe paper, with our sculpting foam, with our cardstock. It doesn't really matter, but they will go with all those lovely big bold florals as well. So if you're looking for classic leaf shapes by themselves, perfect way to go. But if you want that lovely multi-level detail in there, absolutely ideal. Now, let's put those to one side because we've got one more Thinlits, boys and girls. We've got one, but I saved this one till last because it's a bit of a showstopper. It's a Thinlits Plus Die. So you will need a Big Shot Plus or similar sized machine. It won't fit through your Big Shot, this one. But boy, oh boy, do you know what? I think you might look at that and you might look at all the facets in it and think, oh, it might be a bit fussy or a bit fiddly or a bit difficult to put together. But it really isn't. It really isn't. It's very, very straightforward. And this is the kind of thing that you can create with it. So 3 gorgeous colours there. How about something decorated with a big floral there? You can see we've got all those elements we looked at earlier going on as well. It opens, of course. You can put your gift in there. So if it's a gift that you're giving, if it's a favour box, if it's something for weddings, birthdays, baby showers, you name it, this would be absolutely, oh, look at that, how clever. Absolutely perfect, a really great way forward. Simple to put together, as I said, but wow, really, really stunning. The impact is staggering. Imagine you will be the belle of the ball if you hand those out at a birthday party. There we are. Now we're getting into Bigs technology. Now, let's talk about Bigs. Let's talk about Bigs because you can see these lines are very thick now. A lot of people are familiar with our Thinlits and our Framelits, but Bigs, they offer you something slightly different. Basically, a Bigs die has a deep steel blade. Now, that allows you to cut so many different materials. It allows you to cut multiples in one pass through the machine. It allows you to cut textiles. It allows you to cut mount board, mat board. It allows you to cut, oh, so many things. Anything you can cut with scissors, you can cut with this. You could cut this packaging with it, should you wish. And this one is our lovely Cabbage Rose, which was designed by Jen Ogborn. This is how it comes out. And look at that. Aren't they gorgeous? And that's just felt. So it's one of those dies that comes kind of in a circle like that, in a spiral, and you just roll it until it forms. And it forms naturally. It doesn't take any skill to get to this stage from cut to there. All you need is a blob of glue to hold it together, and you're away. And we did see that used to good effect earlier. But how about this? This is a little basket. We've got some of those cabbage roses going on there as well. There's another one slightly different. And some of our other flowers as well in crepe paper. We've used sculpting foam for those. But it's whatever you want it to be. If you want to use it with your textiles, the foam, the crepe paper, your felt, the world's your oyster, because we're talking about Bigs technology. And Bigs technology gives us that flexibility. It gives us the ability to cut lots and lots of different materials. So that is our Cabbage Rose. Let's put that to one side for a second because I want to look at this is called Nordic Flowers, and you're getting these lovely flowers. You're also getting that lovely, I particularly love those leaves. It's really clever. That's designed by Olivia Rose. And I'm going to pick up an example now. Josh is going to have to pan out on this one because it's quite a biggie. How about that? How about that? Use it for a plique on a cushion or a table runner or a napkin. There we are. How about that? Anything, absolutely anything, or a garment, an item of clothing, you know, whether you're using fabrics, whether you're using felt, or if you want to do a mixed media make and you want to cut it out of mat board or something like that. Thank you, Josh, for pulling out for that one. But this is a gorgeous time. As I said, not only do I love the flower has a lovely balance, but this leaf, it's just glorious. And this is one of a range of florals that we have with our big dies, so it's good to mix and match the different sizes and different designs. Then next up, we were talking about teacups and how kind of on trend they are at the moment, and this one comes with its very own little tag. Of course, you can cut, because you've got a bigs now, this lends you so many possibilities in terms of the materials you can cut, which we've already spoken about. But this one, we saw this one earlier in that light up project. Just gorgeous, classic shape, really cool, lovely size as well, slightly bigger. So wherever you want to go with this, I think this one is going to be super popular. I really do. Now, one more by Olivia Rose, and this is our, I think it's called Housebook. It is called Housebook. Well done, Pete. Basically, you've got these three shapes, and they crease. It creases, so you can create something like, and this is actually one that I put together. This is using some of our lovely Sizzix pattern paper with some of our stamps as well. Little photographs, so you can use it. This would make an ideal gift. It could, you know, it's almost like a mini little album. So, and you could join a couple of these together as well. You could go on and on and on. It could be, you know, we could be looking at a specific occasion here, or celebrate a birthday or something like that, or just telling a little story. But because of that, it does stand up as well with those creases in there. So it would be a wonderful gift to present to somebody. You can put it on a mantle, or, you know, it's kind of endless, this one. It's great for mixed media. People who like the mixed media mix, this is a great, because it's cut out of matte board, it's a strong, rigid material, not like card at all. So there's lots and lots of possibilities going on there. Now, that is our big. I want to just show you some. Now, this next collection, if you love Eileen Hull's dies, and I know that many of you do, this comes from Eileen. This is her chapter 1. I'm sure Eileen will be able to tell you about the possibilities of these dies way better than I ever could. But the first two, these are Scoreboard Xls. What is a scoreboard? Well, a scoreboard is a big die which not only cuts matte board or mount board or the thicker boards, but it also creases it. So we have these lovely crease lines in there. This one is a phone holder, and that's how that comes out. So this is something I told my daughter about, because she has a phone holder which she made in design technology in school. And I told her we had a die to do it, and I told her that she could, you know, because what she wants to do is create a collage and then die cut it. So she can have pictures from her favorite magazines and so on and so forth, and then die cut it, and she can have something personal, something bespoke, something special. Great if you're working again with younger makers who want to do something, and this is something for them, a mobile phone holder, because goodness knows they do like to look at their mobile phones. Now that's the phone holder. And next up, this one here, it's a lovely die, and it is the book box. It's the book box, and this is how it comes out. And again, because it's a scoreboard, we're talking about boards. So if you want to, I mean, you could cut a ton of these and have them as storage in different colors, for example. Or what a wonderful way to give a gift as well. And you can see that book. This is unfinished. This is Pete. Pete did this for photography, not thinking about the insides, did he? So naughty Pete. But you can decorate the insides as well. You can decorate front and back. And I've used our Sizzix pattern paper again for this. And ooh, that's a nice die in the middle. What's that, Pete? Well, I'm glad you asked, voice in my head, because this is Snail Mail. Again, we talked about the trend for letter writing. Makes a wonderful card for it. You can cut these up individually and make your own stamps as well. Makes a great sort of almost vintagey kind of background. And this one, this is a card I created just using some of our Sizzix cardstock as well, with a few stamps and whatnot. It does just make a gorgeous, gorgeous background. And if you take a craft knife down there, as I said, cut them out individual stamps. And last but not least, from our Italian. We do have vintage buttons. I love this. This is 3D folder. And you can see it does have an incredibly vintage vibe. And there it is. This is just one that I cut the card to shape, I embossed it, and then I just applied some distressings over the top to bring out some of that gorgeous vintage detail. And of course I used one of our positive science stamps on the top. Whew, that was a marathon. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has given you an idea of what's coming out in Chapter 1 from Sizzix. Bit of a sneak peek. We could go into more depth and talk about them individually, but I think I've been talking long enough. So thanks for joining me. And if you want more information, then if you're in the US, go to sizzix.com, or if you're in the UK, the rest of the world, go to sizzix.co.uk, and there will be all the information where you can get these from, the pricing, and so on and so forth. And there will be plenty of inspiration in the form of videos and blogs and so on and so forth from all our fabulous makers. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.